Welcome to this episode of Let's Make Millions here at Canela Media Studios with Bill Raymond, my partner. I'm Rob Medved, CEO of Canela Media. What a great guest today.
Great story. And I thought one of the major insights I saw was that she was doing a job, she was in a career that she didn't like, and in the crazy world we live today, you need to be happy.
Yeah.
And you need to find something that you have passion for, and she found it, and I think it comes off.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's the lesson learned. I mean, we talk about a lot of things with Natasha Fischer, who runs, and she's a social media mega influencer, has 2 million followers on Instagram for Trader Joe's List, and really the OG of all things Trader Joe's. And we get into Trader Joe's. We talk about her story, her passion, how she got there. It's a great story, begging to be fired again and again to find her way in the world and be happy. And she did that. Now she's monetizing that space in a great way. We live and breathe in the social media marketing world as well. And it's really great to hear her story and how she's monetizing that space.
Yeah, and I think it shows you, how much the overall marketing environment has changed. So especially where we come from, where it was major TV. Now it really is at 360, and from what she's doing is she has connected all the dots, and her business has taken off because the media world has changed so much.
Yeah, she also has a product called Pat the Spatula, which is a smiley faced, eco-friendly spatula for the kitchen, making all things happy there, which, by the way, has 55,000 followers on its Instagram page alone, which is 48,900 more than you and me.
Shh.
But
now that we have her on our podcast, we're going to go up too, my friend.
Exactly.
I will be retargeting. And pushing this content out to everyone I know, because I will go off of her coattails now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Natasha.
So as part of Let's Make Millions, we also have a facet called Let's Give Millions, where we give back to the charity of choice of our guests. And Natasha's charity of choice is All Seated in a Barn, which is horse rescue, saving horses that are no longer wanted or needed or can't be taken care of their owner, and saving them, trying to save them before they go off to worst things in life. So
great cause.
All Seated in a Barn, great cause. So stay tuned. We've got Natasha Fischer. We've got all things Trader Joe's. We actually go through some product and put her to the test, which she does with her followers. And we talk social media marketing, and great story. Stay tuned.
Get up on your feet. This is a shakedown. And you can rock and roll with an attitude. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh.
Welcome to this episode of Let's Make Millions. We're here in what is now sunny Santa Monica. It's been raining here for the most part of the year, but it's a nice day.
Very nice day.
We're in the Canela Media Studios. I'm Rob Medved, CEO of Canela Media, partner Bill Raymond, and we have a mega influencer amongst us.
Mega!
Natasha Fischer, who is Trader Joe's List, and you've got a couple million followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's got to feel good. It's better than Bill's 200.
Hey, I have 400.
Oh, you do?
No, what's so cool is that when I look at your list of people that follow you, like so many of my friends, and it's nice.
I saw the same thing.
Great.
I went on a couple of weeks ago, and I saw the same thing. It's like, so many people are following you. You've been doing this long too. Like, you're the OG of Trader Joe's List, right?
Yeah.
So let's start. Where'd you go to college? What'd you do after college?
Well, I was born in Bakersfield. We'll just go to the very beginning.
I love
All the way back?
Thank you.
Okay. I like it.
I went to school at UCSB, and then
Gaucho.
That's where I had one of my first Trader Joe's experiences. A friend of mine took me there. We went and got froyo and then walked around, and I just thought, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
So I started shopping there. Then moved to LA. I was working as an accountant for Deloitte & Touche. I was combining two different names. And while I was working there, I really quickly realized.
You went to school for accounting?
Yeah, business economics with accounting and philosophy. And
somehow the pendulum swung all the way to mega influencer and Trader Joe's. Okay.
Right.
Let's go.
None of it makes sense, but it kind of all goes together.
Yeah.
So I was working for Deloitte & Touche as an accountant. Quickly found out I am not an accountant. Not a good one because I didn't love it.
And that's one area you have to be good. Like, it's like, I'm not a good surgeon.
Right. Well, I mean, like, you could get by. You're just going to be miserable.
Right.
You know, so you're working 16 hours. At one point, I was in a janitor's closet. Like, that was the office they'd put us in because you'd go to the client sites.
Yeah.
And I hated it. And on the side, I felt like I was losing any sort of, like, creative passion I had. And I was always a creative person. And then I heard about blogs. I was at accounting camp where they send you and like teach you how to really use Excel.
What year is this?
This is 2008.
Okay.
So right before the crash.
Yeah. Right before the crash. So I'm at accounting camp. A friend told me she started a blog. First time I ever heard of the word blog. Hers was on shoes. I said, well, I want to start a blog. And from there, I didn't know what to blog about, but I got home from accounting camp. And all of my room, we lived like in a duplex. So there's 2 of us in the front house, 2 of us in the back house. And all of our friends that were in this duplex were like eating all my food. Yeah. And you're a college student. You're just out of being in college. You're not making a ton of money. And I'm like, I can't afford to feed like myself and 3 other people. Yeah. Why don't you guys go to Trader Joe's, get your own food? And they're like, well, we don't know what to buy. I was like, well, then that's what I'm going to make my blog about. It's going to be about Trader Joe's food items. And so from there, I made the blog. And I naturally just tied a Facebook and a Twitter to it because those were the only social handles at the time. So I started the blog. I was still an accountant, miserable, but instead of doing accounting, when I was doing this on the computer, typing away, I was actually just building the blog. Yeah. And then the recession hit. They did a round of layoffs. I didn't get laid off. I was pissed. I couldn't afford,
that was your out.
I couldn't afford to quit.
Yeah.
And they're giving severance packages. So I went to my manager and I was like, listen, I think I'm depressed. Like, I'm not happy. I can't. I thought I was going to get laid off. I didn't get laid off.
You're the only one.
Can you fire me?
Can you please get me one of those pink slips? So I get a call 2 days later. She's like, hey, I got something for you. I'm like, what? She's like, come in, bring your laptop. I'm like, yes.
So happy.
So
the first person being laid off here is like, yes.
I know. So I took my laptop in. I think we got like a couple months severance package. It was pretty good. And from there, I was fun employed. I didn't touch anything to do with work, any social media, but I still shopped at Trader Joe's, just kind of found like happiness again. Yeah. And then I jumped back into private equity, and I logged in one day to the blogger account, checked that, and I was like, oh, weird, I have followers. And I logged into my Twitter. I was like, why do I have 14,000 followers on Twitter? Yeah. Like, I haven't really been doing anything. And then it occurred to me that people were using my handle to share about Trader Joe's. Yep. And I saw that. I was like, oh, that's really interesting because it's organically growing. So from there, I started.
And you were a first mover.
Yeah, I was a first
mover. So once you got in there and people were searching, the algorithms picked it up. You became the de facto choice.
Yeah. Okay. So I was the first mover. So then I just started putting in. It wasn't every day, but if I found an item I liked, I'd post about it, put it on my blog, share it on Twitter. And then Instagram started. So then I started on Instagram. Yep. So overnight, I had 25,000 followers. Again, first mover. Yep. And
this is at a time where Trader Joe's is starting to expand too.
Yeah.
Right. Like being in the Midwest at that time, for me, we didn't really have Trader Joe's yet.
Correct.
But we knew it was coming.
Yep.
And when I was out here on the West Coast, it was kind of this de facto kind of cool hipster brand that was starting to grow and gain popularity with, middle-class America, I think, really, at that time. So you kind of caught that wave, too, then, I guess.
Yeah, surfing. Yeah. I caught the wave. But it was interesting, because at the time, a lot of people still didn't understand that Trader Joe's was a grocery store. They thought it was some, like, high-end boutique grocery store. The thought that they had around it was always interesting when I talked to people. Yeah.
When you started the blog, did you first think that there would be like a model where Trader Joe's would pay you? Like, were you thinking that ever, or you always thought that it'd be separate?
I never thought about the money aspect of it. It was literally, when I got to that like depressed point as an accountant, like I didn't even think about money anymore. It was just about feeling like you had a purpose and you wanted to be alive for something.
Yeah, it made you happy.
Yeah, it made me happy. And so I never thought about, oh, how am I going to monetize this? What am I going to do with money? It was really just like, this makes me excited and it makes me feel this thing that I like. Yeah. And so I kept doing it as that served its own purpose for me until, I was working private equity. I still did that on the side. And it was always something I did for 8 years until I started to monetize it.
So it took you that long to actually say, I'm going to pull the trigger and make some money at this?
Yeah, a friend of mine was working for a company, and I think what happened was a lot of brands saw me as like, well, the only thing you can work with is Trader Joe's because it's about Trader Joe's, but they were missing the fact that, I had all of these followers that fit a very specific demographic.
Yeah.
90% of them are women ages, 20 to 45 years old with disposable income.
Yep.
So people were shoeboxing me. And so it wasn't until like the first person came to me and they said, hey, I did some stuff for my buddy's company and that did really well.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally an agency came to me. They're like, hey, do you want to try? What I would say what made the biggest splash was Magic Spoon came to me and they were like, hey, do you want to do an ad? And I said, yeah. And they paid me I sold over $40,000 worth of cereal in one 5-minute post.
Yeah.
And so
how many followers did you have at that time?
I think that was like 1.3 million.
Yeah. It's interesting because when we use, influencers to promote products,
Yeah.
the ones that do best are like you. They're discerning, right? So they care about because they know their audience.
Yeah.
Right? It's a passion project, so you care about your audience. We had some stuff go with like Dave and Sissy and these guys. And when it's the right product with the right influencer, it can be magic because that comes across in film.
Yeah.
Right? It's genuine.
Yep.
It's not, somebody out there with 100 million followers, what that's about. And it can fall flat. And we've had deals fall flat that we paid so much money for versus somebody that has 1 million followers or 500,000 followers or less that just takes off.
Yep.
Because of that fact.
So before we move on from this, don't forget that last week I went TikTok famous.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
Well,
did.
I don't know about that, dude. You think so?
Well, I had almost 15,000 views. So in my world,
That's good.
So my daughter just made a really a quick little TikTok about me and some pictures, and
It's so good.
and it took off.
She did a really good job with it.
I'm TikTok. Good job, Kate.
Well, you got to find your niche now.
I do.
Surfing, something.
Yeah, you do have to have a niche.
I do.
Yeah. Follow that business model.
I'm gonna find it out.
All right.
I'm on it. Bye, Canella.
You're not happy here?
I'm very happy
Okay.
here, Rob.
All right. Well, back to you. So then you start monetizing this when you have about 1 million followers or so.
Yeah.
And you kind of figure that piece of it out.
Yeah, so I guess I really started to jump into the monetization was right before COVID. So I was working in private equity development. So things had like taken jumps, and then I was in real estate development, and the COVID hit, and at the same time, so I was working for this company called Mod Pizza for 5 years, and I'm still doing my Trader Joe's list on the side, making money off of it. And it was getting to that point where I was like, I could actually go work for myself, but I don't want to quit. I don't really like to quit things. So COVID hit, and I got a call, and it was like, hey, we can't expand anymore because everyone's indoors. So we have to cut the real estate team. I was like, sweet. Another time I got like laid off, and I was super excited. I was like, awesome. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go full-time on this. And that was perfect timing because when COVID hit, grocery stores were the coolest place to be.
Yeah.
And, there's lines around Trader Joe's. It was like the club. So from there, like I got more momentum, a ton more brands started coming in, and now since 2020, I've been doing this just full time.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. I mean, yeah, the Instagram feed is fantastic. You have different segments where you talk about recipes, you talk about all the new product. And the great thing about Trader Joe's is it's such a unique brand to me. Like I would love to sit with their creative team and understand. I mean, they came to be with this kind of Curious George meets the Bahamas meets some kind of like 50s Stepford Wife. It's this weird vibe.
Yeah.
But it's very like people are in. When they're in, they're in. And they have all their own food, right? Or most of it is their own.
So they white label products.
Yeah.
They work with a ton of different vendors from all over the country, all over the world.
Yeah.
And they white label the products with their brand.
Yeah, so it's going to be a contract manufacturer, and then they have some kind of NDA, I'm sure, where they can't disclose who's doing it.
Correct.
But you kind of can figure that out.
Yeah, sometimes you can figure it out. You can be like, pretty sure this is this product.
Yeah. But I remember what put them on the map for me was back in the day that $2 Chuck, which
Yeah.
was
Yeah, so they have sold over 1 billion bottles
Oh, wow.
of $2 Chuck.
1 billion.
1 billion. So
That's a
please
fun
fact check that because I'm not positive of it, but 1 billion bottles of that, which is amazing. And same as you, I really got going to shopping there was after college. I was on a very small budget, and you could go there and I would eat for like a week. I'm like, I want to say like $50 or something.
Yeah.
Like very, very inexpensive. And I think over time, I think the brand has matured. And, every single week, my wife goes there, and there's all these little treats we buy that we can only get there.
Yeah, the
Right.
go-tos. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it, the flowers are great. You got this $2 Chuck, which was kind of started as their lost leader, right? I think it's Charles Shaw. I don't know who.
Yeah, it is.
It is, yeah. Is their wine branded, or is it all relayed?
Yeah, they have their Trader Joe's branded wine.
They do,
and
yeah.
But they white label again. They get stuff from Napa. They have.
Yeah.
Some people say this is like Camus white labeled
Yeah,
or whatever, but
Oh, tell me what that is.
they've got their like platinum reserve.
Yeah. Well, I know you could walk in, it's like 50-cent bananas or whatever the loss leaders are.
19 cents.
19 cents.
And then the organic are 25 cents. I only know this because I hate bananas.
You only know this because it's your entire world.
I love bananas.
Yeah, but you do, and the great thing for you is they're changing out product and coming out with new stuff all the time.
Yep.
I mean, when I was looking into this, they have this Hall of Fame, like the products that they put in their own Hall of Fame. Which,
Right.
Oh, by the way, Trader Joe's has like 2.5 million followers.
Right.
You almost have as many followers as Trader Joe's themselves. So that's pretty
great.
incredible to me, actually.
They started their Instagram in 2013 after I sent them a letter. So
You were like, guys, get on the map, please.
yeah, pretty much. And
Yeah.
then they got on the map.
Help
so.
me help you.
So, regarding brands that you're bring on to help sell through, post or through the newsletter, are there certain brands that you can do or you will do, or ones that you won't do, depending?
Yeah, it's really just things that I like, because again, that comes through. So I definitely turn down brands that just aren't a fit for me.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a brand that I like, for instance, back to the Magic Spoon example, like I genuinely like love that cereal. I ate it like every day for like 3 years, and then I'm doing intermittent fasting right now, so I'm like not doing as much breakfast. But those are the type of things that like for me, like health and wellness brands I love, beauty product type of
Yeah.
things, anything that just naturally I would buy. I'd try to partner with them. I'll reach out to the brands, or if they come to me, I'll take a look at them.
Yeah. And you have great engagement.
Yeah,
Like your engagement is really, really off the charts. I mean, when you look at when we pulled some of the numbers, even the Kardashians and stuff, you have more engagement, which says basically your followers are all real, basically. It's people that are very much they want to hear what you're doing. They're interested in your posts, and they stick around and comment and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
when we look for marketing partners in the influencer world, that's what we look for.
Yeah.
You got to find that alignment. But so I'm going to cut over here. So we're going to do you do a segment called This or That. Mm-hmm. And you have your followers basically vote.
Yeah.
They like this product, and it's categorical, right? So it's going to be like these flowers or that flowers or
Yeah.
whatever. And a lot of people go there. People vote, but a lot of people go there, I see, to
Just
actually see how people responded. I want to know what the world thinks. Which one should I buy?
Yeah, we had to add that like poll piece in,
Yeah.
because so many people were like, well, I just want to see like what other people
won?
want.
Yeah, and it's how many people are here just to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's the overwhelming majority of people, right?
Right.
Yeah. Which is interesting, but you have never done it, have you?
No.
So we're going to put you on the spot,
Okay.
and we're going to make you do this or that
Okay.
on Let's Make Millions.
Let's do it.
So let's get some product out here. So we went to Trader Joe's and we bought some product. You've never done this before, but
No.
you're going to do it. We're going to put you on the spot today. This or that. I'm gluten-free. So the first choice here is Trader Joe's
Oof,
Oreo
tough.
knockoff kind of here. Gluten-free JoJo's,
Okay.
which I love. I mean, when I was a kid, I could eat Oreos like no tomorrow. And gluten-free was so good for a while because there was nothing gluten-free when I started.
Right, so everyone's like, oh, that's why you're so like fit.
Yeah, I dropped like 20.
And now
I dropped
everything.
like 20. Now it's like Domino's has gluten-free pizza. I'm like, thanks, fuckers. So Trader Joe's soft baked snickerdoodles, which I could eat this entire box. It's like butter. So now you have to choose this or that.
Okay. Do I need to provide an explanation?
Tell us what you want to know. Yeah.
Okay.
What your people want to know. What's your pick and why?
This is a hard choice, but I'm going to go with the soft baked snickerdoodles solely on the fact that you can't find those anywhere, and they have like Oreo gluten-free Oreos. You can get them at like any other grocery store.
So this is
So I'm going with this.
so this is unique.
Going with this.
Okay. The soft
Soft
baked snickerdoodles winner. Okay.
Ding ding
It'll
ding
be
ding.
interesting if you do this and see what your followers think. So we're going to stick with this one. We'll put this over here.
Okay.
Winner.
I can't wait to taste them.
Next one. Corn chips. I'm also a corn chip fan. Do you like these things? I mean,
Oh
these,
my
these
God.
are the bomb, right?
My daughter,
I mean-
she eats those like.
But I think these are one of these is one of the best-selling items at Trader Joe's. I think this one is. Maybe I don't know.
They're both
Yeah,
really
I mean, I
good.
don't go out at Trader Joe's without grabbing these.
Yeah.
So, but it'll be interesting to see. You've got organic corn chip dippers.
Yeah, those are phenomenal.
Flavored. Fantastic. Billy, mind to hold that up.
Yep.
And we've got the rolled corn tortilla chips, chili and lime flavored. This or that?
I'm gonna go with the rolled corn tortilla chips.
You are.
Yeah. I think they're both really, really, really good. But these ones have that element of, are they gonna go away? And like
So you purchase at Trader, but probably people do that.
you want
right?
it to be
Like,
this, because then if it's not that, well, if it's not this, then
You won't be able to get
it
it
could go
again.
away, and then you
So
can't
there's
get any more.
like a collectible element to
Yeah.
Trader Joe shopping.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Look at the learnings we're getting.
Well, I did see one of your posts. You
Insider.
talked about this cheese that came back.
The Dorothy's cheese.
You
that
are
it?
you
Like-
are
So
so
good.
excited about that one.
Have you tried it?
No, but I
Oh
saw
my
your face. You were like
Is it that
ecstatic.
good?
Oh my god, it's
It's a
phenomenal.
soft cheese or
soft,
like a
soft
brie
ripened
or-
cheese, and it's not quite like a brie. Like a brie is a soft ripened cheese, but this is just like a creamier, smoother cheese, and it's got oregano, sage, and basil in it.
Oh my
It is.
goodness.
It is so good. Like
I'm getting hungry.
no, it's put it on a cracker. It's so good.
All right. Rolled corn tortilla chips, chili and lime flavored. This, we'll put that down. We got 2 winners here so far. We'll go a couple more. We'll go with the crackers. Now that you said crackers. Mm-hmm. Garlic naan. Garlic naan or the raisin rosemary crisps?
Garlic naan.
Oh, that was quick.
So I do like the crisps. The crisps are good. Again, I'm gluten free, but I do sample things just to
Yeah.
know. But I know like how good the garlic naan are, and those have disappeared before and come back. And these are good, but they have like so many different versions that come out seasonally. They've got like the pumpkin
Yeah.
one, so
Okay.
garlic naan crackers.
So we're going with this. Garlic naan. We'll do that up there. Last one. Sweet tooth again. We got the sea salt butterscotch.
Uh-huh.
Those are good. And then the peanut butter cocoa marshmallow.
I'm gonna go with the sea salt butterscotch caramels, just on the instance that I have a peanut allergy.
Okay.
So
What
I
if
can-
you didn't have a peanut allergy? Or you wouldn't know because you're not
Well-
eating them.
I do love like chocolate covered caramels,
Yeah.
but I also like chocolate covered marshmallows. But probably I like to snack on little like chocolatey things. So
Yeah.
probably the sea salt butterscotch
Okay,
caramels.
we'll go with the sea salt butterscotch. Another thing when I go to Trader Joe's, I rarely get out of there without that plastic tub of peanut butter cups.
Oh yeah.
That little one.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then the chocolate covered, is it almonds or cashews?
Oh, there's a
No, the chocolate covered espresso beans. Those things- you put those in the fridge. Those things are deadly.
That's fantastic. Are there items at Trader Joe's that, like, that you wish would come back? Do you know some things that, like, oh my gosh, I wish they would bring this back? There's got to be dozens of things that they retire over the years.
I think there's a belief that I have like a ton of insider information.
Yeah.
I have none.
You don't?
Like I have none. I have as much as anyone would if they went in and talked to an employee at Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
But I pick up on trends, so I know like ube seasons right now, and there's they're bringing back the ube ice cream because you see it year after year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, Trader Joe's is fantastic. It's a cultural phenomenon, and branding and marketing. It's really an exercise in like how to be successful doing things non-traditionally. Because if you really think about it, they don't advertise. They advertise through social media some, but that's it. There's no TV ads. There's really no print. Like
That's interesting.
they have just such a unique brand. Their brand is the attraction. Other stores, they're relying on Oreo, marketing Oreos, so you go there as a destination. Where Trader Joe's is really marketing the individual products
You're
through social
right.
media, and people drawn into that kind of that collectible, just wild world. I think it's just a fantastic brand.
Yeah, when you look at the brand, what are the key selling benefits you see that they have, like for the consumer?
Yeah, Trader Joe's has such a rigorous process for any product they bring in. They want it to be high quality. They want it to be something that's going to taste good. And that's why a lot of people say you never dislike a product. And I'm like, yeah, because they've already done the hard part. Like unless it's just something I don't prefer, like a banana, I'm not going to like their banana ice cream or their spread. But everything they bring in is curated in such like a nice way that you know it's going to be good. And so you can kind of trust it. So I think that's a really unique thing that they do is like you can trust the products, it's good. And they also don't use any food dyes or anything, so you know
it's clean.
Yeah, it's relatively clean. People get upset about oils, but
yeah. Can you imagine if somebody came to a business plan and said, hey, we're going to open a grocery store.
With no advertising.
No advertising.
Right.
All our own brands, nobody else's products.
You're crazy.
Right? And it's just such a unique.
Well, and I think it's quirky enough in a way that works because it's so different, but that's why you like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone's so friendly too. Like,
yes.
You feel like the employees become your friends when you go there often. It's such a nice.
It started back in the 50s or 60s here
60s in Pasadena.
Pasadena
was the first store.
Joe Colomb. He just came out with a book last year that I'm going to pick up, like Becoming Trader Joe.
I think a lady named Patty wrote it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read that. But I read a little blurb, and he named Trader Joe's after Trader Vic's. Remember Trader Vic's? It was like a spoof on it, something like that. It was a spoof on it, and then it started taking off, and then of course Aldi got involved and everything.
Trader Vic's was a restaurant at the Hilton in Beverly Hills, and it was like this
tiki torches and stuff like that.
That's how
that very quirky too, but fun.
That's what's influenced the brand identity, right? That's how they have that whole just.
Hawaiian
it's almost like somebody,
yes,
like a movie set designer came in and did that. There's somebody nailed it with that piece of it. But it's a great lesson in marketing and branding and how to be successful by getting your brand out there in different ways. And you've got such a unique story in that regard too.
Right.
And when we think about, we started in traditional linear television, and I think back on like how influencer marketing became so important. And you think about television back in the day, it was NBC, ABC, CBS. You had these big tentpole networks that everybody would tune in on, destination viewing. And you look at the ratings, it'd be like 40 million people watching Friends on any given night, like 20% Nielsen rating market share. And then the whole place fragmented. And MTV came on, and our attention span went to like 2-minute infotainment stuff. And now it's like gone back into the hands of somebody like you that today you post something, you have 2 million followers. Think about this. You have 2 million followers. I looked, Nielsen, prime time last week, the third highest rated show had 3 million viewers. So you're reaching as a mega influencer in your own essential video, posting television network of your own, curated, much like Trader Joe's curates stuff for your consumer in a way that reaches audiences in a very powerful way. And that's why that brand dollar and that advertising dollar that comes to you is so important, because you have such a captured, engaged audience that also is millions of people.
Correct. And the brands that you're putting out there, your followers want, because those are the brands that you're putting out there. So it's so engaged that, if you put it on like Lifetime television for an ad, while you may see more people in some ways, but it's not as engaged as your brand is.
Right.
Yeah. But there's a lot of pressure with that too. Right? Like you got to come up with content. Thank goodness Trader Joe's does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Right.
They come out with the new products, and then it's just like, how do you get that product in front of someone? And sometimes you'll make a video you'll spend an hour on.
Yep.
And then like yesterday I made a video, I was like, I'm just going to make this real quick. I wasn't planning on it. I just threw some stuff together, and it blew up.
Yeah.
And of course it's the things that you spend an hour on that you're like, I'm going to plan it out. This is what I'm going to do. And it's just kind of like, meh.
The pendulum swung that way. We never know. I mean, we have ads that we do on TikTok or whatever piece of social media that we all sit in the creator room and go, there's no way. And then it tests, and we're like, what?
And it takes off.
Right.
Like we don't even understand it. And it's content. Content's king as much as product is king.
For sure.
As ever. It's about keeping it rolling. Okay, so let's get back to how you monetize the space a little bit more, if you can talk about that. So you talked about the Magic Spoon deal.
Yeah.
And that was wildly successful.
Mm-hmm.
How often are you doing, brand engagement deals and finding partners? I mean, I'm sure you get approached all the time.
Yeah. So it's you have to have a balance, because if you over advertise, and it just kind of like loses traction.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to do 1 to 2 brand deals a week, and it's kind of like, if you listen to any other podcast, they'll throw up 1 or 2 sponsors per podcast. So I do about 1 to 2 a week. And that's kind of the nature of how I've done it. And I work with a couple different agencies, and then sometimes if I find a brand, like another one I liked is Elementi electrolytes. I reached out to them and ended up, setting up a year worth of partnerships with them. Just
Yeah,
I
I
liked
saw
it
that.
so
That's
much.
in your link tree or in your
Yeah.
to be able to go.
Yeah.
get it.
So when a brand comes to you, are most doing it on a continued basis for a longer period of time, or?
Yeah, so they typically come to me and they say, okay, well, why don't we do a test? Let's just see how it goes. And they do a test, and then they always come back and say, we'd like to book more months with you.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And that's typically the structure of how it goes. There's other brands in the past I've worked with, like Spindrift for several years, which was more of just like, hey, we're going to send you product, have it in your shots. When we roll out a new flavor, do something around that. But like, it's less structured of like, it's not as performance based.
Right.
It's more of just, let's just get it out in front of people.
And that's very smart of them because
Yeah.
they recognize that they're talking to foodies and people that are influenced by what you say is good, whether it's at Trader Joe's or not.
Right.
It's like agnostic to that space. So that's interesting. But that's smart marketing.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
I mean, we do that stuff all the time. Do you have an agent?
Not a direct agent, no.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Whenever there's an agent, we're like, pass.
No.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine who was working with me for a while, more as just like helping talk to brands before I got on the phone with them and whatnot. And then it just became easier. And I also enjoy meeting the people behind the brand.
Yeah.
And I wasn't getting to do that.
Yeah. You want to know the story.
Yeah.
So do they storyboard something for you, or do you just put up a bunch of different creatives and let them approve it? How does it work?
They usually just say, here are some bullet points we want to make sure you touch on.
Yep.
Have at it. The brands that have tried to be storyboard and script,
They don't
they
work.
tank.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Agree.
they come back to you and they say like, well, we didn't perform well. I'm saying, because you're trying to micromanage an organic process. Like
Right.
you can't.
So you just need
Can't
the
do
key
that.
selling benefits. That's it. Here's the hook. Go
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, and
Well-
like I like it. So let me tell you why I like it.
Yeah, because the more that you're engaged, the more that you know the product, that you believe in the product, it's going to come off while you're speaking about it. Where if you're just going off a script, it's like, what?
Right.
And are those most videos now? Like when you started, it was just still posts basically. And
Oh,
now
yeah.
it's all video. Right?
Yeah, it was still
Basically.
posts, and then you had to become a video editor. Which at first I was like, oh no, and then no, I love it. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's like arts and crafts time when you get to put stuff together and layer
Yeah.
it. But yeah, it's all video. I do most of my sponsored posts are on my stories because that provides a link so that who's ever watching, if they want to get it, they can easily tap it and
Yep.
get linked right to it. And then sometimes I'll make a reel and people can visit my link in bio if they want to check it
Yeah.
out.
Well, that's great. Fantastic story. You've done such an incredible job, and this is it now for you.
We'll see. I
Yeah,
mean, the
only,
internet's
the
a
only
weird
person
place.
left to fire you is you at this point, right?
That's true. That's true.
All right. Well, congratulations, Trader Joe's List, Natasha Fischer. Thanks for coming by. Much continued success to you. What a great story. And, follow her if you aren't already.
Please do,
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah. Thanks for
Awesome.
stopping by.
Thanks.
For more content like this, subscribe to Let's Make Millions and get alerts for all future episodes.